You've made it. Day 8. You've made it all the way through this content. You are almost there. We're picking sort of that final look and feel for the website. So we're going to talk about WordPress themes and, things to look out for and, my favorite WordPress themes to work with. So you've got everything else figured out. This is kind of one of that last pieces of figuring, one of the last pieces to put together. What's the website actually going to look like? What framework am I going to use? So my favorite WordPress, themes and plugins are from StudioPress. So StudioPress, so we're going to click up here. So studiopress.com. And click up here and we can actually go through and basically preview what all of the possibilities are with these themes. I would recommend that you choose to filter down to StudioPress. Third-party themes here are fantastic. They're beautiful. I find, though, that there is more detailed information on getting your website to look like the theme that you've chosen if you pick a StudioPress theme. There's more step-by-step information around that to make it happen so that you can get it to look like what you're actually seeing here in the demo area. So, for example, I'm going to pick this theme here. So the Wellness Pro theme. If we look at the live demo, we can see all of this breakdown here. There's, all of these pieces are essentially what's called a widget in the back end of WordPress. So you do not need to fill all of these pieces and have multiple sections of content. You might only use 2 or 3 of these, and that's okay. They've just filled up the demo so that someone can see the potential of that, but it doesn't mean that you need to fill it up that much. And the nice thing is, too, you can also see in all the demos sort of what the layout options are. Content sidebar and how that would be presented. So, and like I mentioned a few days ago, a lot of websites now are getting away from that sidebar content because it doesn't translate as well through people that are using their iPhones or their iPads as they're cruising the internet for whatever they happen to be looking for. So my recommendation is always to go full width content. You can still put images in here. We can see that we've got a really great section for our footer. So this would actually be footer 1 and footer 2 instead of having 3 spaces for a footer or 4 spaces even. So, and then what I love also about StudioPress is they've actually given you this demo right here, so you can see what that's going to look like on a tablet as well as on a phone. So, and if you've spent any time browsing the internet, you know that that little bar right there is what you need to click on to sort of drop down that menu. But you can see it all right here. So basically, because you've done the work of figuring out what the images are, what your color palette's going to be, it's far easier now to sort of take one of these themes and see which one's going to suit your needs the best. So let's just go back and we're going to shop themes again. So some of my recommendations are like these themes that have, that broad, that landscape image. They tend to work best, if it is a landscape that doesn't have a specific pinpoint of, what you're, focus on someone's face or a portrait or something like that. Because what's going to happen is when you actually use this, so we'll go right to the live demo. So you can see that the image changes. So if I were to leave, a picture of, a child here in this landscape space, then at some point, depending on whatever device my user is using, it's just going to look funny. It's not going to look quite right because it'll be cut off at some point, and so your message, the beauty of your website, will be lost because people won't actually see it the way that you're necessarily seeing it on your computer. So in this one, beautiful, we can see how everything sort of breaks out. These pieces here, you could find something to suit your needs on Deposit Photos to get those little icons. Even if you search free icon sets and the type of free icon set that you're looking for, you'll find some other files that you can download that way as well. So basically you're looking at a theme and you're figuring out, okay, what's my priority? what might be these top 3 things that I would place in here. If they're services, then that becomes very, obvious what those 3 services would be and how you would outline them on your website. So I'm a big fan of StudioPress. I've been using them for years. I am providing you with an affiliate link. I'm not even sure what the amount of money that actually ends up in my pocket if you use that. It's not much, but it's something. So it helps me pay for a couple of domain names every year. So but what I love about them as well is that there's sort of these layers. So if you think of your hosting, and then you've put WordPress as your content management system, and then on top of that with StudioPress, they have what's called the Genesis framework. And then you're buying the next theme to put on that. So you've got WordPress, you've got your framework, and then you've got the theme, which is, that's the final coat basically on the canvas that is your online presence. So they just work really beautifully. Like I said, if you pick from one that is a StudioPress theme itself instead of one of the third parties, you'll find that the assistance behind it, the how to, everything that gets broken out, makes it a little bit easier to follow so that you can actually get the website to look exactly like it does in the demo, just with your content. So that is day 8. We've made it to the end. You've got all the pieces together. I hope that you found this course helpful. Let me know what you're struggling with, or maybe what's missing, and which dots to connect. And I do have a fantastic course. It's the first time it's coming out, and so hopefully you will join me on that course, and we'll take all of this and we'll put it together exactly the way I do, step by step, for every single one of my clients. So you're not going to have to think about, well, what do I do if my website crashes? Do I have a backup copy? How do I get Google Analytics installed? What about these opt-in form things or lead magnets? I'm going to take care of all of that and walk you through it step by step. So I think you'll find that really valuable in making sure that you build your online presence, do it once, and know that it's going to work for a while. So, and I don't think I've mentioned it yet, but I would really appreciate it if you know anyone that's sort of struggling with this stuff and feels like it's just too much. Really, I'd really appreciate it if you shared this course with them so that they can get a handle on, all the pieces and how they come together, so that, it doesn't become so overwhelming and technical. It really doesn't have to be. So awesome, here you are, you've made it to the end, you've got all those pieces. So, now when we sit down to actually work through all of those steps, I'm going to show you exactly what I do to build each one of my clients' websites. And that course will be opening up very soon. You'll get an email from me. So I hope that you will join me, on that course, so that we get your website up online and it works for you, and you can cross that off your to-do list and get on with the next piece of promoting your website and building your audience online.